Marcus and Cole snuck up to the basement window to set up the camera. It was 15 till 11. Their hearts were pounding in their chests. They still weren't entirely sure if this man wanted to actually go in on killing their boss with them, or if he would simply try to kill them instead. They placed the camcorder that they had purchased right outside the still open basement window. It had a good view of the entire room, and they were confident it couldn't be seen from the outside. They then made their way around to the front of the house. Halfway up the steps, Cole said, "Wait, we don't have to do this. We could just grab the camera and go." "Just go?" Marcus asked. "You mean just let Pete's killer go free? If you're gonna balls out, at least call it what it is." Cole looked angry, but not angry at Marcus for saying the truth. Angry, rather, at himself for being a coward. He nodded and then moved to the door. He knocked 3 loud, hard times and then stood back. It was silent for several minutes. The shooter must have skipped town or backed out of the meeting. Maybe they scared him off with their phone call. Great, Cole thought. They probably helped Pete's killer get away. Then they heard footsteps. The footsteps grew louder and louder as they approached the front of the house. The door opened just enough for the bill of a baseball hat and one eye to peek through. After looking them both up and down, the man slowly opened it enough to squeeze through and then shut it behind him. Marcus's heart was beating so hard it seemed to physically move his entire body every time it pumped. The man used a key to lock the door, which produced a loud thud. Cole, again, looked as though he would soon faint. Marcus was also confused as to what the man was doing, but kept his facial expressions as neutral as possible. What the man did next made the blood drain from both of their faces. He pulled a knife out of his pocket, a big knife too, that read K-Bar on the side. Marcus tried to move towards the criminal, but was frozen in fear. Cole apparently was too, as he just stood there. The man didn't attack them, though, but rather reached into his other pocket and pulled out a cell phone. He pointed the camera at Marcus and said, "State your name." "What?" Marcus responded, genuinely confused. "State your name." "Marcus Barringer." The shooter then turned the camera on Cole and made the same request. "Cole Gurney." The criminal continued, "Are you now, or have you ever been police officers, government officials, or informants?" They answered at the same time, "No." The man reached again into his pocket, this time producing a large bag full of white powder. They both knew what it was immediately. Cocaine. He dipped the tip of the knife into the powder and brought it back out with a sizable mound on the end. He put the tip under Marcus's nose and waited. Marcus asked, "What is this?" The man squinted his eyes slightly, knowing that he wasn't asking what the substance was. He said, "If you're cops, you can't." Cole said, "We already told you we weren't." "Yep, you did," he said, "and now I want you to prove it." "Fair enough," Marcus said, understanding that their options were very limited here. He leaned in and snorted. At first it didn't have a taste, it just burnt. Then the flavor kicked in and Marcus's eyes started to water. It tasted like hot gasoline and blood in the back of his throat. The man laughed and said, "Bruce said you were a lightweight." He then offered Cole a lump of powder, which Cole snorted. "Who the hell is Bruce?" Cole asked with his eyes starting to water. The criminal looked suddenly suspicious. "My boss," he said slowly. "The one who you wanted me to kill. Whichever one of you it was." Marcus picked up quickly that they should have known this and covered it with, "He called himself Bruce to you?" "Yeah, that's his name." "His name," Marcus continued the lie, "is Vince. I'm the one he sent you to kill, and I'm sure as soon as he told you his real name, he would have you killed too." "Vince, huh?" the criminal said. "What a bitch. Wouldn't even tell me his real name." He then unlocked the door before turning back to them and saying, "Give me your phones." They obeyed. He placed them on the handrail of the porch and then patted the rest of their pockets, looking for anything else. Once he was satisfied, he walked back into the house, leaving the door open for them. He sat down on a couch in the living room, gesturing for them to sit on the chairs across from him. They looked around before Marcus said, "Do you have a second story, or a basement, or somewhere we could talk that isn't the front of the house?" "What?" the man asked. "You expect someone to be listening?" "Well," Cole said, barely hiding the resentment in his voice, "you are most likely involved in a murder investigation, so excuse us for wanting a little extra privacy as we plot yet another killing." The man frowned slightly. I will be tied in no way, shape, or form to that murder. Before Bruce, or Vince, or whatever the hell his name is, I had never met any of my clients or mules or sellers face to face. I have never been suspected of any crime, either drug or violence related. My system is perfect, 100% hands off. I have never been in a courtroom or a jail cell in my life, and I never will be. So excuse me for feeling safe in my own house. This time Marcus spoke up. Regardless, we are not discussing anything in the front living room of your house. The criminal stared at Marcus for several long seconds. Marcus met his gaze, not flinching. The awkward silence wasn't broken by any of the men, but by the sound of a phone ringing. It was an old corded phone hanging on the wall. The man said, "Speaking of mules, there's one now. I have a basement. Make your way downstairs and I'll join you in a minute. Don't touch anything." He answered the phone and began speaking to whoever was on the other end. They got up, barely believing that pushing the stranger into the basement worked. As they made their way down the stairs, Marcus whispered, "So, what's the plan?" Cole looked over his shoulder in a hell if I know kind of way. "Right," Marcus said. "As soon as he admits to anything, I say we split. No point in pushing luck we barely have." Cole said back, "Well, let's be smart about this." They reached the bottom of the stairs and sat on the couch they had seen the stranger sleep on. The room was barren other than the couch they were sitting on, a side table next to them, and a table against the wall across from them. The table against the wall held a gigantic television with what looked like a Blu-ray player underneath it. On the side table next to them there was a Maglite flashlight, a lighter, and a television remote. "This guy isn't totally stupid." "What do you mean?" Cole looked up the stairs to make sure their host wasn't coming down yet. They could hear his muffled voice from somewhere upstairs. He continued in a whisper, "Well, it's not exactly a secret that criminals aren't smart, which is why," he made air quotes with his fingers, "crime never pays." Marcus furrowed his brow. "So what, we tie him up and keep him in his basement while we do his anonymous drug dealing?" "We could kill him." Marcus looked baffled. "Yeah, bro, let's kill him." Cole went on, "He's a low-life, unintelligent drug dealer who, if you don't remember, killed Pete. We, on the other hand, are smart. What if crime did pay?" But he stopped as the stranger's footsteps came thudding down the stairs. Even without finishing his thought, Marcus knew exactly where Cole was going. What if they used their formal education and knowledge in an informal setting? "So," the man said, "what did you have in mind?" "First," Cole said back, "we want to know why you were sent to kill my friend here." "I don't even know who your friend is," he said, and he looked genuine as he said it, too. "I was only given a description of your outfit and a price for doing it." "I saw you kill that kid outside the bar the night you were supposed to meet me. What was that about?" Marcus asked. "He was wearing the same outfit you were supposed to be wearing. I approached him from behind, and when he turned around, I shot him. Who the hell cares? I didn't kill you." Cole took the opportunity to respond. "We were just wondering if killing the wrong person was a one-time thing, or if you were trying to make a career out of incompetence." "It was a one-time thing." "Hopefully," Cole said, making eye contact with the man. Marcus continued, "That's good. We aren't trying to start a business relationship with a serial killer." "Well, killing a retard on accident doesn't exactly qualify me as a serial killer." Both Cole and Marcus were left silent after this comment. After a moment, Cole spoke, his voice shaking ever so slightly with anger. "What did you just say?" "Yeah, that kid I killed. He was stuttering pretty bad, begging for his life from what I could make out. I could barely understand what he was saying. I should have realized he wasn't the guy I was sent to get. But what are you going to do?" He started laughing. Another corded phone rang. This time it was on the table that held the television. As the man turned around to answer, Marcus could see out of the corner of his eye, could almost feel Cole looking over at him. He couldn't return the look, however. His brain didn't even feel like it was working. It was like he was in a dream, looking at the room from above, noticing every detail.